Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news on those protests happening in spite of an injunction issued to stop demonstrators from blocking doorways and driveways at government offices. CTV's Alana Kelly joins us live from Victoria. Alana, what's going on where you are right now?
Well, you can hear how loud it is behind me. These protesters have been spread out all across Victoria at 35 locations. Now, these are BC government buildings, and they're doing exactly what you hear behind me. There's over 500 protesters spread out, and it's a very different mood than what we saw in front of the BC Legislature building a couple days ago. You can hear lots of people honking, a lot of support for these protesters that are out today. Now, Scott, the people that I've spoken to here said that they signed up and they heard about this through word of mouth. So they've heard about this event today just by talking to other people. And as you can see behind me, a lot of these protesters are still going. They've been going since 7 a.m. So it's been a long day for a lot of them. And this is the 9th day that they've been protesting. I'm actually joined with one organizer who I'm going to talk to right now about how today is going. Thank you for joining me. I know it's kind of loud behind us, which is great. How has the response been today?
It's been very positive. We've had a huge outpouring of support. We've locked down all the ministries in the city, and there's a lot of people who have studied the facts. They've looked at the history, the context, and they understand that what's happening on Wet'suwet'en territories sets a dangerous precedent for Indigenous relations in this country.
Why these buildings? You know, you occupied Bridges and you did the BC Legislature building. Why these buildings today?
Well, the statement that we're making is that we have the power to shut Canada down if they insist on running roughshod over the rights and title of Indigenous peoples.
What else do you have planned?
There's so much planned all across this country. We see people shutting down railways. We see people shutting down ports. We see people occupying offices, financial institutions, all to make the point that Canada needs to be accountable to the people and not to the investors and shareholders of Coastal GasLink.
Do you think people are getting the message? Do you think it's making a change?
I think so. Everything we see here, this type of support from the non-Indigenous community, it's been lacking in the past at Oka, at Ipperwash, at Grassy Narrows, at Burnt Church, at all over this country. So what we're seeing now is people are starting to understand the ramifications of a full militarized invasion of Indigenous territories.
Now, what about that injunction that we know about at BC Legislature building? Are you planning anything else there, or are you staying away from the BC Leg building?
I mean, that injunction is an odd one because it covers the entire city. It doesn't have a definite time frame, and it affects everybody. So I think there's going to be challenges to the legality and morality of that, especially because we're demonstrating peacefully. We're upholding Wet'suwet'en law, we're upholding Indigenous law, and we're holding the government to account for its actions up north.
Is this going to stop anytime soon?
It won't stop as long as the RCMP and CGL are on Wet'suwet'en territory without their consent.
Okay, thank you for speaking with us. So there you have it. We're just going to have to wait and see what comes next. But for now, these protesters are making their voices loud and clear.
All right, thank you, Alana. CTV's Alana Kelly live in Victoria for us this afternoon.